Hey everyone, I'm excited to share with you some great information today. I'm here with Liran Hirschkorn. We did actually Liran did an AMA in the Amazing Freedom Facebook group a couple of weeks ago. And we just had some phenomenal questions about private labeling, importing, how you pick a private label product, how you launch a private label product, how you do ad campaigns, how you work your PPC, and just some really great information. And I think a lot of people commented on it. They were very appreciative. Well, we just wanted to do a quick video about that AMA because we think some of the content that Liran shared is really good. This is a lot of this content. We're going to be going into greater detail at our Econ Chicago one-day workshop, which is October 20th. So if you've not heard about that, you definitely want to check that out. Liran, myself, Jeff Cohen, the three of us are going to be sharing, we're going to be deep diving into some great information on how you find a good private label product, how you launch a good private label product, and then how you keep your private label product ranked and in a good place of search. So again, that's October 20th. You definitely want to check that out. And so what we're going to do here is I'm just going to repeat some of the questions that were asked in that EMA, and then Liran is just going to share with us some of his answers as well as additional information that we think are super relevant to if you're private labeling. So Liran, if you're ready, I'm just going to rapid fire these questions as you answer them. First one is this, all right? What's the mistake everyone makes? So this was a question someone asked. What's the mistake everyone makes that I should avoid when it comes to private labeling?
Yeah, so, when most people teach how to private label, they'll tell you go with something light that fits in a shoebox that's, cheap. And so if everyone does the same thing and goes after the same exact products, you're going to end up with a product that's going to be saturated. So, what I do is sometimes I look for the opposite of that. I look for something that's a little bit bigger, something that I can customize. I don't look for that me too, what I call me too type product that's going to be the same as everybody else. Then when I launch it, even if it does well now, 3 or 4 months from now, you're going to have more competition in the marketplace and you're going to have trouble with your sales. So I would say go for what others are not doing. Go for something that's a little bit harder. And if you can customize something, either different colors, different sizes, that's not too difficult, you're going to have a much better chance of success. Now when I look at products, and Andy and I were just talking about a product the other day, we're looking to see how can we make this a little bit better and a little bit different than other people. And that's going to give us a differentiation point in the marketplace so that we're not doing exactly what everybody else is.
I totally agree with that. I'll just add a little bit. You and I were at the CES conference last week, and we both met the gentleman he has 800 units, and it's a product very similar to like a salad spinner, where if you look on Amazon, there's 1,000 listings of salad spinners. This was his first product, and it's just not selling, and so he's kind of stuck with it. But that is a mistake that I see often. So here's the second one. Second question is, I have a product with no sales. How do I get my first sale?
Yeah, so it's, on Amazon, it's you need sales to get sales, right? So how do you actually do that? Because for Amazon to start ranking you for products and showing up in the search terms, they want to see that you're selling and converting. So what you really need to do is have a launch strategy, which is getting some initial sales. Well, how do you do that? Well, you can have friends, family buy the products at a discount code. I know some people do that. And then there are websites like Snapshot. I use that. Andy uses that, where you can give your product at a deep discount for people to buy it, and then you start getting reviews, and then you get that ball rolling. Hopefully, if you get some good reviews and you start getting those sales from Snapshot, then you can start actually ranking for some keywords and getting some of those sales that you need. Depending on how competitive your product is, you can launch a product that doesn't need any promotional giveaways, and I've seen that people have success with that. And then you can go into extremely competitive areas that you need to give away 500 units just to start showing up. So really all depends on how competitive the item is, but you need to generate those initial sales and reviews in order to get sales. You can't really just expect to put a product out there and have it start selling, because you probably wouldn't buy a product that had no reviews, so
Right.
that's what you need to start off with.
All right. Awesome. Great. All right. So here's the next question. What is the one question you wish you could have asked if someone was doing a ask me anything like we're doing here when you first got started?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I would have loved to learn more about ranking products, because picking a product is your number one most important thing, picking a product. But number two, getting that product to rank. So I probably would have wanted to learn more on how do I actually get my product to show up in search. And for me, one of the ways to do that is, along with those giveaways, is also launching a pay-per-click campaign. And even initially, if I'm losing money on the pay-per-click, once you start converting from pay-per-click, so let's say I have a keyword, okay, here's my this latest toy I got for my daughter, Finding Nemo. Let's say I have this keyword for Finding Nemo toy. Then if I'm not necessarily going to show up for that keyword in search, but if I do an ad for Finding Nemo toy, I can show up for that. Somebody searches for that keyword, clicks on my ad, and then converts. Amazon sees that as a signal that the keyword and your product are related to each other, and then it can start ranking. So I think doing PPC to start out to rank is important, even if it's a loss in the beginning.
Excellent. All right, here's the next question. So they ask, I have a product for a long time. I can't get it ranked no matter what I do. I did PPC, but it was costing me way too much and wasn't converting at all. My reviews are so-so. People either love it or hate it, but it just won't come up in the search results for its main keyword. Any advice for that person?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So one, if your reviews are so-so, I think you need to look at that, right? What's wrong with the product? Why are the reviews so-so? And I think if you can, maybe there's a second generation for this product, if you're going to continue with it, where you can improve upon it. That might be an idea. A little, tactic is to get people to vote up, get your friends to vote up those reviews that are, 4 and 5 stars. There's a little thing that says, was this review helpful? Get people to click yes on that, and those will show up first at least, so that you don't have like a 1-star review as your first one, because that's a conversion killer. That probably will help you get more sales. But I think also probably looking a little bit deeper, if you're getting reviews that people hate the product, you need to figure out why that is, and then that's not something I think you can ignore.
All right, excellent. This is all great information. When I look back, when I started, 3 years ago, if I would have had, time to watch an AMA like this, it probably would have saved me thousands of dollars. I'm serious. Because a lot of times, like, information like this, it is available, but it's in like a million different places. So I'm excited about this. We're going to go to the next question. It's this. Is creating a product similar to others, but with a lower cost, a bad mindset?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's always going to be somebody else who's going to come in, and what are you going to do if somebody else comes in and prices it cheaper? Are you going to keep lowering your cost? So yeah, that's a bad mindset, because, unless you're able to buy, thousands and thousands of units and get a better price, and then you're making the same margin, but you're the Walmart of private label sellers, maybe that's fine. But, I think at our levels where people are generally getting sort of similar pricing, somebody can always come in and undercut you. So I think it goes back to the first point. Don't try to go on price. I have some products that are, more expensive than other people, but they sell better because I have better, sorry about that. I have better reviews than other people. I have better images than other people. I have better copy. Those are the things that you need to really look for, other than just price.
Excellent. All right, here's the next question. And I get this one a lot. Do you have an expectation of a lifespan of a single private label product? And if so, does that drive you to get sales as fast as possible by using sales tactics? Or do you just keep adding new products and hope organic sales grow for each item without much outside effort?
Yeah, so I mean, I know that it's possible that my private label product is not going to last forever, but I also don't go in with the expectation that it's only going to last a certain amount of time and then I need to like blow it out maybe at a lower margin or something. I try to look for products that I think will last, that I can add variations to, that I can add related products to. But it's impossible to predict. I think if in a year from now, there's going to be too much competition, but that goes back to, making your product a little bit different. But, I try to get as much sales as possible, but I'm not going to say, okay, this is only going to last 6 months. Let me take a fast, smaller margins, get it in and get it out. That's not really my strategy. I think it's also hard to predict what your lifespan will be.
Yeah, definitely. I'll add to that. So my best-selling product I've had now for close to 3 years, and it's still my best-selling product. Now, what I think I was able to do, I got into the market early, and so all of the reviews on this product are all verified reviews. I did no promo giveaways, and I'm far ahead of everyone else. Now, there is more intense competition coming in, they've lowered their price because they're trying to gain market share. However, I've been able to keep my price high, and I think it gives customers when they see my product, they think of a premium product compared to my competitors who are all trying to, offer it at a lower price. And so, just to give you a sense, like I've had a best-selling product for 3 years in a row. That's not going to last forever. And like Liran said, probably every category and every product niche is a little different. But that's just, a personal experience story for me. All right, great. So next question is, do you know of any paid services for private label items that provide all-in-one additional promotion to outside sites, such as Reddit, Craigslist, Google Ads, instead of doing it ourselves?
I don't really know of an outside service like that. I think if you're going to do that, I think you just really need to. I think what I said on the AMA was that if you're going to have somebody, do like Pinterest and post some stuff, out there, Instagram, you could probably have a virtual assistant do that. If you're going to do more in-depth Google Ads, Facebook, funnels, discount pages, things like that, more complex strategies, you probably need to have some strategy on your own and work with a marketing, person or company to do that for you. I think if you're going in that direction, you probably want to build out, some pages with, giving away discounts, getting people to opt in, building email lists, and maybe even a website, if you're going to do that. But there's some simple stuff like Pinterest and Instagram that you can just have a VA do.
All right, excellent. All right, next question is, does Alibaba sellers' product quotes typically include shipping, or do you need to handle that separately?
Right. So typically, when I deal with my suppliers from Alibaba, if I'm shipping by air, I usually let them handle it, and I've never had a problem where they say we can't handle air shipping. So they'll typically give me an air shipping quote. Their quotes are typically very competitive from what I've seen. If I'm going to be doing ocean freight, then I have a freight forwarder that I use that handles it basically, and then it's a matter of the price of the product from the supplier either being FOB or EXW, meaning FOB means they are going to deliver it to the port, and that's included in my price. And EXW means that they're just going to produce the item, and I need to arrange to have the item picked up from their door, essentially, which means it's going to cost me a little bit more for my freight forwarder to do that. But it's typically not that big of an issue to get a van or a truck to come there and pick up the product to the port.
All right, excellent. All right, next question. I've never done a PL product before. If I were looking to find a new product, where do you recommend I begin my search? Alibaba, Amazon, looking at other PL offerings, reading into reviews on other popular products on Amazon, making changes, tweaks to existing products so I can create my own unique product. Where do you begin?
Yeah, so this is a big one. I like to begin my searches on Amazon. I try to look for top selling products, but I'm not going to look for the number one selling product in home and kitchen or sports and outdoors. I like to niche down, right? So, if I'm looking at sports and outdoors, I'm going to go into like one subcategory of fitness, and then in second subcategory of maybe yoga or specific, exercise. And I'm going to try to find like a niche and look at the top selling products there. and maybe start there. And then look at what are the top selling products. Yeah, read those reviews. See if there's a theme of some similar type of things that are all selling well that I can work with, or maybe make something a little bit different. And then I also like to use a tool like Merchant Words. Go into Merchant Words, put in what I call a top level keyword, like go into Merchant Words and put in yoga equipment, and then see at all the related keywords that come. So yoga equipment might have 300,000 searches a month according to Merchant Words. I like to see, well, what are some of the things that have like 10 to 60,000 searches, and find little niches within a main keyword, and that can really get you thinking about getting you some ideas that you wouldn't have thought of yourself.
Absolutely. And I'll just throw in, like, the way I found my recent products is not using tools like Jungle Scout or other. It's just being in the Amazon catalog like I am an Amazon customer. I'll look at the top 100, but I'll never try to do the top 100, but I'll click down to see customers who bought this, also bought this, customers who viewed this, also viewed this. And I'll just kind of keep clicking down, right? Following the rabbit trail, what a lot of people say. All right, so here's the next question. Do you custom brand all your products? If so, what's the most effective way? Putting stickers on the product when you receive it, having the manufacturer put your logo on the box, and or print the item?
Yeah, so I recommend that you do custom brand. First of all, it's not expensive. It may be included in the cost of the product when you're ordering 300, 500 units. The supplier may just do it because you're ordering enough units. But it may cost you 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents to put a brand on something. And then when you're looking to get brand registered, which is basically giving you total control of your listing as far as any changes you make are pretty much immediate. And, we think that the future is that Amazon will have brand registered products, the ability to lock them down for competitors or hijackers jumping on those listings. So you want to brand your packaging and you want to brand your item. And I would do that for sure from the beginning. And Amazon won't accept stickers as far as, branding on a product. So I would look to custom print something.
All right, excellent. So another question, kind of follow-up to that is custom branding a typical service being offered by sellers? Does it add a lot to the per unit cost? Do you ask for a sample with the branding?
Yeah, so when I get a sample, I don't really need to see the branding because that's not a big deal. I just want to make sure that the quality of the item is good, and that it looks good, and that it works the way it's supposed to work. But it's not expensive to get something. I mean, suppliers know that people who are buying from them are private labeling, so they're used to it, and it's usually very cheap. But I don't necessarily need to see it on the sample.
All right, excellent. So here's a payment question. Do you typically pay through an escrow service to make sure you are getting the product that you are expecting?
Yeah, so I do use Alibaba Trade Assurance a lot. The best way to do it, they have a few different options in Alibaba. So they have a new option that they've launched this year called e-checking, which basically you can link up through like a ACH debit your bank account that works through Trade Assurance, and it costs only $15. The downside to that is it takes the supplier like 5 to 7 days to get the funds. So it's going to slow down production a little bit. If you're in a rush, I wouldn't use it. The next option is to pay through a credit card in Alibaba. I believe there's a 2.8% fee that you're paying. So depending on the cost, you may want to get the points or whatever, and you may just maybe you rather have the cash flow and not have to make that payment for another month. So you might want to use that. And then the third option, which I use most of the time, is doing a wire. And then the only thing you're paying is your bank fee. I like that because the supplier usually gets the money within a day or less. It's usually very, very quick. The same day I wire, they'll have it later that day typically. And it's all done through Trade Assurance, so you have protection. Now, as far as getting the product you're expecting, that's a different issue, because I think as long as they ship you something, you're probably going to not win necessarily that battle with Trade Assurance. I've never had to go through that, but they can show proof that they sent something out. So you probably need to work with the supplier, which kind of leads into why it's important to have your item inspected before you make your final payment. Because if you get an inspection, let's say you have 1,000 units, they'll randomly draw out 10%, let's say, of those units and check them and send you images and pictures and whether that inspection sort of passes or fails. So I typically will do that, especially on a first order with a supplier, or if I've had previous sort of product quality issues with a supplier when I didn't do an inspection, because that's happened to me also. I'll get the inspection done. I have an order right now that I just ordered an inspection of 1,000 units, and I'm having them check every single unit because of a previous issue that I had. So that's going to cost me a little bit more money. It's still not expensive. For example, if I would have just done a random inspection, it would have cost me about $100 to do the inspection. That's for a full day. And then to check every single unit, they told me they need 2 days, so it's costing $200. But that will limit the amount of issues I have once I get the product here. So, I highly recommend doing inspections.
All right, awesome. Do you have a third-party service that you would recommend, like in this AMA that you've used before?
Yeah, so I recommend it. I've used Richforth Inspection. I think their website is inspectgoods.com. They're pretty good. Alibaba also has some of those services, but I think they actually cost more money. I've never gone through Alibaba to do an inspection. They offered me I have a rep at Alibaba, and they offered me a free inspection. I didn't take advantage of it just because I use Richforth, but there probably are other options out there also.
All right, excellent. Okay, next question. When doing brand registry for your line of products, what does Amazon require as proof of brand ownership?
Okay, so that's a good question because I've had to make some changes when I initially got declined for brand registry. So Amazon requires that you have a website for your product. Actually, one of the things that Andy and Nate and I do is we have something called easybrandregistry.com if you want us to help you with that, because when I initially needed it, I had to have somebody create a website for me because I had no idea on how to do it. So basically, you need a website. You need to have your product there. You're going to need to have your brand logo on the item and on the packaging, unless it's something like clothing where you could probably get away without the branding on the clothing packaging, like on a poly bag. But one of the things they want to see as far as contact information, they want to see matching information from the website to your Amazon account. So like on a contact us page on a website, you probably want to put your phone number and your email address, the same one that matches the information you're on your Amazon seller account, and then you can just remove that if you don't want it out there after you get approved for brand registry. But and then you only need it once also with brand registry. So once you have your brand approved, that's it. You can potentially have future products that are generic, let's say, and don't have any branding on them, but you can still put them in through the brand registry. So you really only need to have it once if you're typically not printing your logo on an item.
All right, excellent. So here's another question. How much did your first PL product run you from China to your front door when you first started?
Yes, so from what I remember, it was not more than a few $1,000s, probably between $2,000 and $4,000. It was my first product. And what I would say is that I've heard Andy say this before, that your first product is like your Harvard education in private label, private labeling, because until you do it yourself, you're not going to go through some of the potential issues and problems that may come up, and you're going to learn from it, and it's going to make you better the second time around. So I would look at your first product, whether you want it to succeed, but whether it fails or not, that's the best education you're going to have is just doing it yourself. So if you've been sitting on this product idea and you haven't pulled the trigger, you just need to do it.
Awesome. I agree 100% with that. All right, next question. Any tips or ninja tricks to remove negative product reviews?
Oh yeah. So, I have a competitor that gave me a bad review, and I'm actually trying to get it removed, but that hasn't been removed yet. Amazon doesn't like to mess with product reviews because they see that as the holy grail of what makes Amazon stand apart from like any other e-commerce website is the reviews, and customers trust those reviews. It's not the same as seller feedback that's like super easy and automated to get removed. It's very, very difficult to get removed. So I don't really have any ninja tactics. If you think a competitor is posting a negative review, so the only case I would say is really abuse of the review system is where you could probably have, you can try to have reviews removed. But anything other than that, I wouldn't really mess with it too much because you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, excellent.
But I will give you a tip actually. So I have a product that Amazon actually forced me to separate from a variation that I had. They said it didn't fit in with the listing. So they removed it, and then suddenly it didn't have reviews. So it got one review, which was good, and recently got another review, which was not good. So what am I doing now? I'm giving some away on Snagshot so that I can get people to buy it who are going to give me some more reviews. Hopefully they will be good, and it's going to change my 1.5 star rating based on 2 reviews, one good one bad one, to probably higher. So if you have bad reviews, knock them out with good ones.
Excellent. And there is actually so I had a competitor leave a negative review on one of my products, and in the review, they mentioned the name, right, of their product. They said, look, don't buy this one. It's not good. Buy this one. And there is a specific email. I forget what it is, but if you come to our one-day workshop in Chicago, I will tell you what it is. It's something like community Amazon at Amazon or something. And that's the only department that can actually remove reviews, right? And I sent them the review the competitor left, and they actually removed it within 24 hours.
Wow.
So, they agreed with my case. So there is a specific department that will look at those reviews that has a very specific email address.
Cool.
Okay, so next question. How long after launching do you normally hope to see steady sales? Also, have you ever had an unsuccessful private label product, if any?
Yeah, so after launching and after doing the giveaways, I would look within 2 to 3 weeks to hopefully start getting some sales in. That's not just to say that I'm just leaving the product as is. I'm doing usually a sponsored ad campaign also to get it going. And that's also after doing some giveaways so that I can get my product to show up in search for at least some keywords. As far as have I ever had an unsuccessful product, I have. And I think I probably will continue to have unsuccessful products. It's part of launching products. And if you've never had an unsuccessful product, then you're not launching enough products if you haven't had it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I always tell people, for me, it's still like the 80-20 rule. 20% of my products generate 80% of my profit. And so, I'm constantly launching new products in the hope that product's going to end up in that 20%, but you're not going to know that unless you are constantly launching new products. All right, so next question is, I have a couple of private label items that I like to do a lightning deal on, but it's not listed under recommended products in the lightning deals dashboard. How do I go about finding a lightning deal with those products?
So there's really only 2 ways to go about it. So one, you have that lightning deal beta in your dashboard. Right now, generally, that's the only real way to be able to get a lightning deal for your product. There isn't like an email or something that you can say, hey, I really want a lightning deal for this product, but continue to check it. Sometimes it also depends on the quantity of the items that you have for the product, but that's really the only way. The only other way is if you can get approved for the Amazon Exclusives program, which, I just posted a little video yesterday in the Asia to Amazon group for Andy's course members. And that's basically a program which, if Amazon approves you for, you are paying an additional 5% fee across your entire FBA inventory. Instead of 15%, you're paying 20%, but it gives you access to some additional things. For example, lightning deals. Deals of the day. It gives you access to adding video content to your page, and also that what's called A+ content, which is, pages sometimes you'll see when Amazon is on a page or some sellers, you'll have a lot of content under the product description with images. So if you're in that program, you can launch a lightning deal, I think, pretty much whenever you want for your product. But if it's, for generally otherwise, it needs to be in your dashboard, in your promo dashboard.
All right, excellent. So next question, what do you normally shoot for as far as ROI for your private label products?
Yeah, so I generally shoot for about 100% return. I've seen people post that they look for higher, 200 to 300%, just because they want to give themselves a cushion in case they need to drop the price based on the market and competition. It's not something I've really, I don't rule it out. I mainly, and also, I wouldn't really focus initially that much on ROI. The reason is because, you have your first order. If that item is successful, you may have ordered 300 or 500, but maybe the second order, you're going to order 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, and you're going to get a better price. And then maybe on your third order, you're going to start shipping that item by ocean freight instead of by air freight, and you're going to get your total cost lower. So first, I would try to find a product that, yeah, you can have a decent ROI on, but also know that, you know, you could take steps to improve that ROI over time. You know, especially if you also get good reviews, maybe you can raise your price a little bit, but you can lower your cost generally over time if you have a successful product. I had a product that, you know, started getting successful for me, and I came back to my supplier and I said, look, I need you to give me better pricing because I've had this and this quote from another supplier. And they lowered the price by like $1 a unit. And that was without shipping or anything. And that can make a big difference. So don't focus solely on ROI starting out because it can get better over time.
All right, excellent. Well, hey, you guys, we're going to end it here. I just want to add, you know, if you're not private labeling right now, I definitely encourage you to do it. You know, it's interesting, all the recent changes that we've been seeing Amazon make with consolidating sellers on specific ASINs, you know, totally blocking, right, sellers on other ASINs. For me, because private labeling is 95% of my business, it hasn't hurt me at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's helped me because my brand that's under brand registry is now it's a restricted brand. And so the only sellers that can sell on my product are ones that I authorize. And I think Amazon's going to continue to consolidate like that. They want to give the best customer experience possible. And I think that they're kind of moving in the direction of throttling what certain sellers can sell. And so, you know, by having your own product, and again, I want to demystify what private labeling is. Private labeling, and this is the way I explain it, it's really just sourcing direct from the manufacturer, right? If you want the best possible margin, right, on products that you sell, you skip all the middlemen and you go direct to the manufacturer. And that's what private labeling is. That's what we just talked about for 40 minutes. What we are talking about is that you go direct to a factory, direct to a manufacturer, you buy the product from them. And that's going to give you the best possible margin on products that you sell on Amazon. So look, this is just a little taste of what you can get if you attend our one-day workshop in Chicago. I promise you, and I've said this on a couple other broadcasts, I will give you a full refund at the end of the day if you are not satisfied and if you don't think that you've received value in this one-day workshop with Liran, with Jeff, and myself. I believe in both of these guys so much, I am personally guaranteeing that you will receive tremendous value at this workshop that we do. So again, I just highly encourage you to check it out if you're in the area or even if you're not. Get on a plane, fly to Chicago, come to our one-day conference, then attend Econ Chicago, which is the 2 following days, and I promise you it is going to be a power-packed day, very similar to what was just shared here.
Today was actually the early bird deadline, September 15th, to get better pricing on this. And Andy has graciously agreed to push that off until September 21st so that you can still get in with the early bird pricing for that conference. So if you're just seeing this and it's the 15th or after the 15th, you still have a little bit of time to get the better early bird pricing and come to the conference. So thank Andy for extending out that date.
So yeah, so that's it. You guys, thanks a lot again for watching, and I hope that you guys have found this helpful. Thanks.